For a while, it didn't look like it was going to happen. But then
O'Connell plays the ball into midfield. An opportunity now for them to come forward, but O'Toole cuts it out on the halfway line. O'Toole, low ball down the right hand side for Rhys Oates to the right of the area. Oates,
Great ball!
And it's Jordan Bowery who scores! Away to our right hand side with 5 minutes to go. All the Stags substitutes are off the bench and on their feet. They pile on Nigel Clough as the Stags players over on that far side pile on Jordan Bowery, and Jordan Bowery unlocks Rochdale with 4 to go. Rochdale 0, Mansfield Town 1.
I told you this would make. I had a feeling for Jordan Bowery today. But O'Toole, first time he stuck to it, he's won the ball and he put a great ball in behind. And finally, we got that quality across and he couldn't miss. It's a great goal. You know, a little bit of quality, which they've not had and we've not had all game. A little bit of quality, great ball, and it's a great finish from Bowery. I just had a feeling it were made for him tonight, you know, looking at this team and his stature and strength, and it could be a fantastic result this if we get this, because we've not played great. But listen, we'll take anything. It's about results, and there's probably 5 minutes to go, so come on, boys.
Jordan Bowery's goal, 4 minutes from time from the bench, puts Mansfield Town back to winning ways and gives the fans the lift they needed, ending that 2-game losing streak and ended Rochdale's unbeaten home run. Can the Stags do the same as they go to a resurgent Oldham on Saturday afternoon? Tonight we'll talk all about that win at Rochdale in midweek. We'll look ahead to tomorrow afternoon's trip to Oldham and a lot more in between as we pay tribute to the late great Ivan Hollett, who sadly passed away this week. And we'll also take a little look at the upcoming fixtures as the Stevenage game gets rearranged, so the Stags finally know their plans for the remainder of the season. Plus, we'll also have a little sneak peek of something special which is coming very, very soon indeed. As always, get involved and have your say on your team. This is the show for the fans, by the fans. This is the Mansfield Matters podcast. It does feel like a massive weight was lifted when Jordan Bowery put the ball in the back of the net on Tuesday night, getting us back to winning ways, keeping us in the hunt and setting up a fantastic final 11 games of the season. Cannot wait to see how this season unfolds. Will it end in a promotion? Can the Stags sneak in? All of those questions we'll ask as we review Tuesday night's win at Rochdale. Look ahead to tomorrow afternoon's trip to Oldham and much, much more in between. Hello and welcome to the Mansfield Matters podcast. It's the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Well, because Mansfield always matters. Joining me tonight to discuss all things Mansfield Town, I'm sure Nathan Edge will pop up at some point, but let's say hello and good evening to the man who seems to have a sponsorship deal with Sauce and Brown. It's Clive, T-shirt by Sauce and Brown, Annesley Parking. Good evening.
Good evening, Craig. Good evening, Alan. Good evening, all Stags fans.
And is that T-shirt from Sauce and Brown, or is it false advertising or part?
No, it's Sauce and Brown. That's their little logo there.
Are you getting a bit of commission now? Are you moving up in the world? Is this what's happening, or are you just doing that out of kindness?
No, since I retired from normal work, I'm becoming a model.
Right, you've got a lot more work to do. We'll come on to that later on. Also joining us tonight, the man who has got the croak in his name, and this is why. Good evening, Mr. Wilson.
Good evening, Craig. Good evening, Clive, and good evening, everybody.
Love it. Oh, dear. So Alan Wilson has got a little bit of I'll say a little bit, he's got a sore throat, not COVID or anything like that. This is what happens, Alan, when you get a little bit too big for your station. You go on other people's podcasts.
Well, you invited me. It's your fault then.
So, yeah. Oh, blame me. Well, there you go. Well, it's good to have you along with us. I know you've got a cup of tea to keep you going as well, and plenty of juice as well. We wish you a speedy recovery. Good job we're not at home tomorrow, isn't it?
It is.
Well, genuine question. What would you actually do? Would you persevere?
I'd try and persevere, yeah. I would take honey and lemon and everything right up until 1 o'clock, and then, see what happens then.
Well, let's pretend we've just got to the 86th minute.
Oh, there we go.
Right. Jordan Bowery just scored to make it 1-0. Over to you.
Goal score for the Stags, Mansfield Town's number 9, Jordan Bowery.
I think it'd be great entertainment, Clive. I'm not going to lie. I think it'd be great entertainment.
I'm going to have to go to the loo in a minute.
As always, get your comments in and have your say on your team. Any questions you've got, mainly for Alan, then send them in and we'll pitch them to him, and we can hear that fantastic voice throughout the rest of the night. Get your comments coming in. We'll come to them in a couple of things. We'll come to those later on in the show. But first, Clive, let's delve straight in. Tuesday night, how important was Jordan Bowery's goal to get us back to winning ways?
Any goal resulting in a win was important against Rochdale, because we definitely needed to change direction. It wasn't a particularly good game, I have to say, and I don't think the Stags played as well as they have done. But it was a superb goal and an absolutely superb result, and just about deserved. I thought we were the better team, although I thought O'Keefe would have got into our side the way he played.
Yeah, he was excellent, I thought, on the right-hand side for Rochdale. But what interests me the most, Clive, actually, was he made 4 changes, the adaptability. We started with Hawkins up front, and then we ended up playing him in at centre-half in the second half. And like Nigel Clough said to me after the game, it's not about winning pretty now. It's just about simply winning games. And as Stags fans, if that results in a promotion in 11 games' time, we're not going to care whether we've played good football or not, are we now? We just care about getting the results on board.
No, and a lot of people of the opinion that Nigel Clough thinks a 1-0 win is the best outcome in every game. And you can't argue that it's 3 points and it's a clean sheet. The trouble is, it's a dangerous game, because we've proved over and over again that we can't always hang on to a slender lead. So I'd sooner see us bang a few more goals in, but I think it might come on Saturday. I think we're meeting a team that's at a fairly low ebb, and certainly the fans don't think they've got much of a chance. And sooner or later, we're going to score. We're going to get a hatful from somewhere.
Yeah, you can feel it brewing. I think the most important thing, though, going back to Tuesday, Alan, was the fact that we managed to get 3 points. It wouldn't have mattered if it had clattered off Nathan Bishop's lower butt cheek and flown in from the edge of his area. It didn't matter how it went.
That would have been a good goal.
Or who got it.
I'd agree with that, because they haven't lost in 11 games at home, have they?
Sorry, what did you say?
They haven't lost in 11 games at home.
No, sorry, Alan, I can't cope with this.
They're a very good side. Behave yourself, Clive. You're supposed to be the older statesman on this. There you go.
Yes, of course.
No, I genuinely think you've got a point, Alan, to be fair. They're a good side at home, and, their league position shouldn't have been taken for granted. And I think it could have gone any way. But second half, especially as it pushed on, it felt like we were going to go on and win it. There was something within the squad, and what pleased me most was the reaction at the end. Yeah,
I'd agree with that, but I didn't like the way they went to 3 at the back. I thought for a good 20 minutes, we looked rather shaky. They came through it, admittedly, and, got the win. But they looked quite shaky to me. I prefer the 4 at the back, to be honest. And that's just my opinion.
What's your view on it, Clive? Because for me, we definitely needed to shake it up at half-time. We needed to do something. I wasn't a massive fan of 3 at the back, because it dragged Hawkins back up there, but we had nothing in midfield. And actually, what playing 3 at the back did allow us to do was allow the likes of O'Toole and Perch to step up and push Hewitt and McLaughlin a bit forward into the midfield. So it sort of stopped them getting in the game. They were coming at us a lot down the right-hand side and left-hand side in the first half, but it stopped. Didn't completely eradicate it in the second half, I'll give you that, but it did prevent it a little bit. And I think that's how we were able to sort of gain a little bit more control over that game in the second half by making the switch.
I don't know whether it's a bad idea or not. The thing is that once we got a lead anyway, we were going to defend like the Clappers at whatever happened, because they were going to throw everything at us. But I felt fairly comfortable with 3 at the back. In fact, the best 3 players on the park were Hewitt, O'Toole and Perch, who was most people's man of the match. But it does require fluidity in the midfield and after graft. And I think if there was a criticism that seemed to be shared by most fans around me, is that one of our January signings didn't seem to be putting the work in. And I think you can't afford that when you adopt that sort of formation.
Yeah, we're going to drop into some of the comments in a minute, but let's go on that. The person that fans are alluding to, Alan, is Jamie Murphy. He's got bags of quality and he showed it in glimpses, but there's a danger, isn't there, of consistently playing him when he's not there. When Jordan Bowery, for example, is absolutely impactful when he comes off the bench, but there are other players in there knocking on the door as well. A rest could be exactly what Murphy needs to find his feet.
And he might just need that, Craig. That might just kick him on to do what obviously Nigel's seen in him. But going back to the three at the back, didn't you think, just my opinion again, that it cut Quinny out of the game? You didn't really see much of Quinny after that, because they were like bypassing him each time.
I agree. And I think the thing with that is it's just difficult to try and get him in the game sometimes. I didn't think he was quite in it in the first half. I think we need to make changes in midfield a little bit earlier on. I've got a bit of a surprise for you though, Alan, because I know your voice is struggling a little bit, so I thought I'd add a fourth member to help you out a little bit. And Nathan's probably not even in on this joke either, so I'm going to let you, as soon as I click it and let him in, I'm going to let you say hello to him and see what his reaction is, okay? So 3, 2, 1, over to Mr. Wilson.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Nathan, that's Alan speaking.
What's happened?
I don't know what's happened. My voice has gone, Nathan. It's got all croaky. So
I thought one of Muppets had joined.
One of the Muppets has joined. You!
Set myself up for that one.
You did. Good to see you, my friend. We'll come to you in a second. Let's delve into some comments. First of all, what's your tagline name tonight? Because it's a little bit too long for the bar. Doesn't fit.
Is nothing coming up?
No, wait, it says give the ball to Bowery and.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. You can finish it off, lads.
Oh, it's very hard.
You've tried to get clever. I hate it when you do that. Right, let's delve into some of the comments. Let's delve into some of the comments as we say good evening to Nathan Edge. Jim's kicked us off tonight. Every manager has their favourites, but Bowery showed you've got to pick the sure bets, not just the teacher's pets. Absolutely delighted for the nicest lad in football. And to be fair, Nathan, when Clough turned to him on Tuesday night and said, "Get on, make the difference for us," that he did. And I thought his running, his timing was absolutely excellent. And there's a big question mark over whether he'll start or not tomorrow. And I think the answer should be yes, he should.
Should be yes. Whether it will be, we'll have to wait and see. But and I felt when he was coming on, it was set up for him. It was one of those games that, although he wasn't performing too well, neither were Rochdale. It could go either way. But I just felt if we could get a bit of quality in there, as in quality delivery, somebody should be there to put on the back of the net. And I just felt with Bowery, I think he has been a bit harsh to be left out or not play as much as he has done in the last few games. Going to come on hungry, wanting to make an impact. So like that comment said, delighted for him because he deserves it. He deserves more.
He does deserve more, and he deserves more biscuits. We'll come on to that later on in the show if we have the return of what's your favourite biscuit. Roger says, "Evening, lads. Great win at Rochdale." Chris jokes, "Is Stevenage's game on tomorrow?" Ellen on YouTube says, "Barry deserves to start more games. Paired with Oates, he's incredible." As much as we've praised Jordan Bowery for getting on the score sheet on Tuesday, Clive, we need to give a little bit of praise to Rhys Oates because he got into and to John Joe O'Toole, actually. They lost the ball. O'Toole stepped up, won it on the halfway line, which I think perfectly highlights what that back three was there to do. Plays a lovely ball to Rhys Oates. And to be fair, Oates decides not to run through the middle. He goes out wide, splits the defence and puts in a perfect ball for Jordan Bowery. And I thought that was actually that typified what a good strike partnership can be and should be.
The assist was really wonderful. And if you get kudos for assists, then he deserves it. But I also think that the forward pass from more or less the halfway line by O'Toole was class. I mean, it wasn't threaded through a needle, but it was certainly a pass that needed to be put in the right spot, and he did. And I think you're right. The three at the back allowed him to move forward pretty much in a straight ahead sort of way, whereas we were trying to play everything down the outside before that. But I think they were tiring a bit because they put a lot of effort in as well. And I just think there was a little bit more room around him when that happened. So I've got, I can share Alan's anxiety about 3 at the back to a point, but I thought it worked quite well. And let's be fair, Quinny was knackered by that time anyway and had to come off. So I think, horses for courses. I'm prepared to trust Mr. Clough on all these things at the moment. If he plays the wrong midfielder in favour of Bowery tomorrow, I think he'll get some stick if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, the key word there is midfield. My worry, Alan, actually is that when you reflect on our last 3 performances going all the way back to the Tranmere game, our midfield's not been good enough. We've changed it around a couple of times, and for whatever reason, it's not been there. It doesn't look fit. It doesn't look sharp, and I think I can see him changing it up again tomorrow. The other option that he can do is obviously step up and put O'Toole. Bring Rawson back into centre half and put O'Toole into midfield. We need a midfielder who can tackle, who can play a pass, but who's energetic as well. And just wondering whether that person could be George Maris or George Lapsley.
Well, you're talking about my 2 players there, which have been commissioning to come into the side for quite a while. But I would definitely put Maris in because I just think he's the playmaker. It makes everybody tick. I don't think since Maris hasn't been in the squad, in the team, I don't think we've had quite our mojo like we have in the past matches, 4, 5, 6 matches when Maris was playing. So I think it might be a good chance for Maris tomorrow. And if he does want to play Rawson with Perch, I've got no qualms about O'Toole going in and perhaps give Stirk a rest.
I'd quite like to see a back 3, Nathan, of 3 centre-backs of Hewitt, Rawson, Perch. Put O'Toole into midfield and put somebody else at right wing back, the likes of Jordan Bowery, who can get forward and get crosses into the box, or Matty Longstaff, who seems to have a bit of energy, or indeed George Lapsley. What excites me is the fact that we've got so many options. We just need to make sure it's the right one in midfield, because that's where our game will be won and lost for me.
That's for me the positive. We're talking about obviously the last 3 games performance-wise. It's not quite been there, and you probably point at the midfield the most. The key area where it's not been ticking for us. But the best thing about our situation is we've got a lot of options to change it. It's not like last season, for example, when you look at the bench and think there's not really anything we can do there. We've got a lot of options, and like you say, even with the likes of moving John Joe O'Toole up there. But even if we didn't want to do that, if we kept him back there, we've got Maris and Lapsley, those 2 in particular, sat on the bench. Obviously, Ollie Clark to possibly come back in. There's so many different options. There's no reason why we can't be brave and mix it up a little bit.
Roger in the comments says, it wasn't a classic, but Bowery goal was well taken. A grind it out type of result that solidified us. He also asked, where's Cam? Hope he's not watching you know what. Who knows? As a student, it's Friday night. He'll either be eating a pot noodle somewhere or asleep. And then
he'll be asleep in a pot noodle.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly knowing Cam. Jim says the 3 of Perch, Hawkins and JJ did look the business, but I worry it just turns into a very much a back 5, giving away far too much territory and possession, and more dangerous teams will pick us off eventually. I think, though, if ever there's a time, without wanting to be complacent, because there's no room for complacency in football at all, but I think if there ever is a time to start with that back 3, Clive, I think it's probably against an Oldham side who were really, really down in the dumps and struggling. And, it can be at times when it doesn't go their way, quite a toxicity-based environment.
I think it's almost certain we'll start with a back 3 against Oldham. But, of course, it's dead easy to switch back to a back 4 if the circumstances demand it. And that's the beauty of having utility players, of course. Our midfield, we had with the acquisitions, we've had an abundance of riches in midfield. Unfortunately, they've not all been fit enough at the same time. I mean, Lapsley came on and he worked really hard. And there were some really good touches. But if he'd had more real pitch time, more game time recently, he'd have scored that goal that he didn't score. He was just, half a yard off the pace. And that, I think, is a shame, because I keep hankering back to last year. He was our player of the year. And, excuse me. And since his injury, he's just not found that again. It'll come, I think, but he needs more game time.
Liam asks, what do you think has happened with George Maris? Probably our best midfielder, controls the game, hasn't started in 3 games, and we've lost 2 of them. Don't think that's a coincidence. What's your take on that, Mr. Wilson?
Well, I'd agree with him. I think Maris, I've said many a time, Craig, on this podcast and various other places, that I just think he makes the team tick. It's the little tiny passes that he does with Stirk and whatever, and then follows on to Quinney, and it just gets the ball moving, moving forward. And he's very underrated with his heading. His heading ability is second to none. If you watch a match with George Maris, he gets quite a few defending headers in, where it hurts. And I just think get Maris, Lapsley, Quinn and Bowery tomorrow in that 4 where Barry can just move up the left in front of Quinney. We'll see a different side tomorrow.
It's an interesting one. Nathan, what do you make of that? The comment from Liam there.
I agree. You do look at it, and is I mean, you say is it a coincidence? Obviously, with Maris going out, you could say that, but it's been quite a few players that have been off it, so you probably can't pin it down to missing one player as such. I think there's a few changes that need to be made if we want to get back to where we were a few games ago. But I think it is time for him to come back in. Stirk. Has been struggling the last few games, so you'd anticipate a rest for him tomorrow, and you think that the logical swap for him would be George Maris back in. So I hope that does happen.
You mentioned one thing in there, which is about getting back to where we were. Now, big question, because Nigel Clough in his post-match said, it's all about getting results now and things like that. What's your take on it, Clive? Would you rather us get results but not necessarily perform well, or would you rather the performance?
I'll take every game from here to the end of the season as an ugly win, because it matters to get promoted more than to play attractive football. We shouldn't. The two aren't mutually exclusive. We should be able to do both. And going back to where we were, I think where we were was better before the January acquisitions. But obviously the January acquisitions were brought in to reinforce the squad. And Clough's been very keen to make sure that those players he acquired have had plenty of game time. And we're not actually seeing a great leap forward as a result of that. Notwithstanding Matty Longstaff, who I think is genuine class. Akins has not really done what we would hoped of him. I know he's struggled a bit with injury, and we have question marks at the moment over others in the squad as well. I just think that I wouldn't want his job at the moment, because he's got to keep changing the team, otherwise people are going to get completely out of form. I think he tinkered too much 2 games ago, and it showed on the field. The changes against Rochdale worked out, but we did have to use all the subs early on in the second half. So I'm really intrigued to see who he's going to play against, on form, the second worst team in the league tomorrow. It's
a funny one, because, like you said, he did change it and probably over-tinker for Tranmere. Port Vale, then, I think he had his hands tied. I think he was forced into at least 2 of those changes. And then, obviously, he tried to change it back and sort of hit the reset button, if you like, for the Rochdale game.
He will argue, quite rightly, we should have got something from both Port Vale and Tranmere. It's not his fault that we had 3 seasoned defenders trying to head the same ball, which resulted in a goal. And it's not his fault that the goalkeeper, who's had a fine season, chose the game to have a guffer, and it happens.
Yeah, and it's part and parcel of football. And unfortunately for us, Lady Luck had been smiling for a while and decided not to smile that night. I want to go back to a point that Clive made there, though, Alan, and that's about being better before January and the January acquisitions. I have to agree to a certain element. I think he's tried to put a little bit too much mixture in the cake bowl at times, and it's just overfluffed a little bit.
Overfluff the biscuit.
Overfluff the biscuit. Let's go with that. It's overfluff the biscuit. And I think, Longstaff's come in and done a good job. 3 goals in his last 4 games. He's a good acquisition. Murphy, he's one of those that's going to take time for settle. Let's not forget that he's living a long way from home, away from family, etc., etc. That all does play a bit of a part, and he's probably not up to the sharpness that we need him to be. Akins is a different one because let's not forget he's not really started in the position that he's best. We're judging him on games where he's been playing out of position at left back and at right back. Yes, he can play there because he's a utility man, but that's not where we'll get the best out of him. And then I'm trying to think of who else we've sort of brought in. Wallace. Wallace. I've actually been quite impressed with him. He's been a bit part player, but when he's come on, he's made an impact. And I just think that Nigel Clough needs to find the right balance again. And I think that balance is probably best with the squad and the players we had available in the starting 11 or sort of 14, which we had sort of late December, early January time. But what you also need to add in there as well is the fantastic news that we've got James Perch back. We didn't have him before January, and actually having him back has actually helped us in the last couple of games. Yes, he came in at Port Vale and we lost the game, but that was bound to happen with what we've just discussed about defenders and goalkeepers, etc., etc. But actually on Tuesday at Rochdale, he got man of the match voted by the fans. It was a class act, and you could see exactly what we missed.
Yeah, I'd agree with Perch. Definitely, I'd leave him where he is, or stroke Perch, stroke Rawson, whoever Nigel picks. But reverting to the other people who you've mentioned, I think Akins is signed anyway for 2.5 years. When he's fit, he will come good. We were there at Newport and watched him have a cracking game. He played really well in his position up front, holding the ball up like Bowery does. Murphy, I'm not so sure. He had a first good game, but like you said, it might be taking time to settle in like Oates did. They've all had to come, from different places, and it might be just time to give him that little bit of a rest. And if it might be a good impact player like Bowery was on Tuesday night, but I would definitely start with Bowery and Maris. That's just my humble opinion. I'm not Nigel Clough, and he seems to keep, getting, apart from Tranmere and Port Vale, put them aside, he seems to have the winning formation each time he does it.
Well, let's hope that can continue. Let's keep your comments coming in. Roger says, I agree with Alan about Maris. He's bound to come back in the next couple, especially against Northampton. The slicker passing that was witnessed some games ago has slipped a bit. I think we need to get back to win more games. We are not that good winning ugly. Doesn't matter though whether we're that good or not, as long as we are winning. That's the key fact with 11 to go. Liam says, don't get why he started Murphy so many times when he doesn't half of what Bowery does, or do what half of what Bowery does. Yeah, I agree with that. But then on the flip side of that, Nathan, you start Bowery doesn't do anything within the hour, and everyone's like, what's he started Bowery for?
Yeah, I was literally just about to say this. I think we as a podcast this season have been quite supportive of Bowery and what he's offered, and you've got sort of a handful of fans that are sort of in the same side of the corner that we are, but then you have got a lot of others that up to having somebody else to dislike, which is now Murphy. He was the player, wasn't he? He was a scapegoat, Bowery. So, but I think now because somebody else has taken the slack, everyone loves Bowery again. It's a tough one. If he comes back in and he doesn't quite perform, it won't take long, I think, for those to turn back on him. So, but regardless of that, I think we'll say, like you're saying there about Murphy maybe needing time to settle in, which could well be the case. But the problem is now we haven't got time. Like Clough admitted himself, we are at the business end of the season. So if it means, like Alan said, him coming on from the bench and maybe trying, being an impact player and giving him a bit of a break and giving somebody else the opportunity that's probably earned it, like Bowery, then I think we've only 11 games to go. We've got to be brave and we've got to do it.
Richard says Akins will be class for us as he showed at Barrow. He hasn't had much luck with niggles, but I'd love to see him back in if fit. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be good to get him back fixed. When he is fit, it gives us another option all across the pitch. I think we just need to ride the wave a little bit at the minute. We've had 2 bad defeats on the road. We're playing away from home as well, which has a massive impact. People will say it doesn't. You've got to play these games at some point. But when they're all as a collective as they've turned out to be. It is difficult, and when you're on the bus for a long time and away from family and travelling up and down the country and not having as much time on the training ground, hopefully it will balance itself out, because I think after tomorrow's game it'll be 5 at home and 5 away, so it will rebalance itself out as well. Richard says it wasn't that long ago that Bowery was the scapegoat with Rawson. A break will do Murphy good. If he had scored in the first half, we may have seen a different performance. And Jamie says, any news on Kel Gordon? No, still out injured. I very much doubt that you will see Kel Gordon involved in a Stag shirt this season, but I'm sure we'll try and keep you up to date as much as we can. Right, let's tick off Tuesday night then by getting some reaction. As always, we've got lots more to fit in before the end of the show. It's up to you three to have a vote. Your options are Nigel Clough or Jordan Bowery. Let's go to Sauce and Brown's Clive Parkin for the vote first.
Without any doubt, Bowery.
I'm going to guess what Nathan's vote will be, because his name is Give the Ball to Bowery and play the Jordan Bowery clip.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Well done.
And Alan the Croak Wilson, are you going for Bowery as well?
Yeah. Bowery.
Well played. You were the man that was proved the difference tonight. First and foremost, as a squad, how important was getting 3 points after 2 consecutive defeats tonight?
It's massive. We've, like you just said, we've had two defeats in the past 2 games, and we haven't had that for a while. Obviously, going on that such consistent winning run, and so getting back on track was the main thing today. So hopefully we can push on again and try and get another winning streak going.
Now, Lee Wilson, my co-commentator, as soon as you got ready to come on, said he's going to get us a goal tonight. I think he absolutely spot on. Just talk us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, Faz said that as well. But obviously, Oates had the ball down the right-hand side. He's done a great bit of work. He's just burst past his man. And I just see, as soon as he got past his man, I thought, I've got to break my neck to get into this box here, because there was a massive gap for him to put the ball in. And he put it on the plate for me, and that's what he does. I love playing with Oates. He's such a. I think we complement each other, and yeah, it was a great ball across the goal, and I just had a nice firm side foot into the goal.
And giving Nigel Clough a big headache ahead of Oldham on Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I'm here to do. I don't want to give him an easy decision to not put me in the team. I'm here to play football. I've been on a good run, so I want to be playing ideally every game, but that's not realistic because we've got such a good squad. So I'll take as many minutes as I can, but yeah, I'm here to give him a headache. Mindset-wise, what does tonight do for that squad in there? Oh, it's massive. I don't think we wasn't low on confidence anyway. If the fans or you lot could see us in training, you'd see how good we are. We never lost confidence. We always knew we could come here and get a win or go anywhere and potentially get a win. So, but yeah, it was massive, and hopefully it's going to put us back in the right direction. As a fan myself, I can tell you that they certainly feel that, and tonight they showed it by backing you from minute one. Oh, yeah, fantastic. I've expressed it not a million times, but enough times to say that they're brilliant. They're here in numbers all the time. They're always singing. They're never quiet. They're always there backing us, and we respect that so much. Obviously, we're out there, and it's good to send them home now with 3 points. You seem to be constantly on the road at the moment. I was joking to Nigel Clough earlier. He said he's seen the bus driver more than he's seen his wife recently. Join the club. Yeah, but that's football. We've got to play him. Everyone has to play him in a way, and obviously people pick on it more because our away form isn't as solid as our home form, but we've just got to go there and play the same football that we do at home. Another shortest journey on Saturday as well as they go to Oldham. What's your message to those Stags fans? Surely you want them to be so loud to try and sort of quiet a resurgent Oldham team of late. Yeah, just keep doing what they're doing, because we don't need to tell them to come out in here and be loud, because they do it anyway, and they've been fantastic. So hopefully they can come up in numbers again and show the support for the lads, and hopefully we can send them home again with another 3 points.
And of course, looking ahead as well to next week, you've still got sort of big games as well. You've got a long trip to Hartlepool to come as well. How important on reflection was tonight to sort of get that sort of, itch scratched, to get that focus back, to really get your head down and climb back up that league table with so many games in hand as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, we've got them games in hand. So having them, you've got to win them. And obviously we've ticked one off today. We've just got another 3 more in hand that we need to tick off. So hopefully we can get on the road and then get another one Saturday, and then, like I say, Hartlepool Tuesday. None of them are going to be easy, but we're going to go there and give it everything that we've got.
That's Mansfield's goal-scoring hero, Jordan Bowery, speaking to me for Mansfield 103.2 after that game on Apologies there. I think we should have a little bit of a cutout in the stream. I will have a word with the hamster running around the wheel and swear at it very loudly. That was Jordan Bowery there. Hopefully you managed to catch that. He was speaking to me for Mansfield 103.2 after the game on Tuesday night. We'll have more from Jordan Bowery in a couple of minutes as we have the return of an excellent feature. But first, it's time to tell you about backing the Stags once more. Of course, away at Oldham tomorrow, but in midweek, we travel to Hartlepool United, Tuesday the 29th of March. The departure time for the SSA is 3 p.m. It's £15 for Amber members and junior members, £20 for blue members, and £25 for non-members. And the number that you need to call is
07967 689 597.
Oh, give it up, David. Give him some applause there.
Yeah. Alan Wilson there, everybody. Alan Wilson there.
Sorry, I talked over you there. What was the number again?
07967 689 597.
That's 07967 689 597 for those who need an interpreter. Our love to Mr. Alan Wilson. Now, before we go into a little bit of fun and find out what Jordan Bowery's favourite biscuit is and bring you an exciting announcement as well. Last night, Alan, you were moonlighting. You were on an Oldham themed podcast, weren't you? Tell us a little bit more about that and what the thoughts are from the Oldham camp.
They basically think that we're going to win 4-0. They're very down in the dumps with how they've been playing for the last 5 games because they haven't won. And they were just saying that we're going to be far too strong for them. And they're quite jealous, really, having your Matty Longstaff. And, they were amazed that we got him. Other people such as that. And John Joe O'Toole got to mention. And they were just very selective of the words, should I say, because they're very upbeat about Mansfield Town. They would sooner be where we are.
It's a very dangerous game, though, Clive, because everybody I've spoken to who, from an Oldham perspective and from any general perspective, actually just has got this assumption that we're going to walk all over them tomorrow, and that worries me. Do you know what? That actually, I'll hand it over to Cluffy, actually. Do you know what?
That worries me tremendously.
Listen, we all do it to a certain extent. We always under forecast to hope to overachieve. And I think it's a defence mechanism. It's the morbidity thing, isn't it? You say, oh, we're going to lose again, because if you do lose, you've forecasted it. If you don't lose, you've won something. So I think there'll be a danger, because they must be hurting at the moment, because the Sheridan bounce has stopped. And because they were on fire when he first came back, and they've lost everything since. So I think they'll be hard to beat, but I think we should beat them.
Yeah, I think they won something like, they were unbeaten in about 7 games after he came in and got them out of the bottom 2. A run of 5 straight defeats, though, has put them back into the drop zone, 3 points from safety.
The last 2 at home as well.
Last 2 at home as well, as you say. So maybe they'll stay up. John Sheridan has kept them up twice before in his previous reigns, once from League 2 and once in League 1 as well. He also achieved an excellent feat at Notts County in his short-lived spell, where he equalled the club record of 9 successive defeats. So... So there you go. Anyway, time to have a little bit of fun. It's time for the return of...
If you've got a favourite biscuit, tell me now. If you've got a favourite biscuit tell me now. Custard creams or Jaffers, Bourbon or digestive. If you've got a favourite biscuit, tell me now. If you've got a favourite biscuit, tell me now. If you've got a favourite biscuit, tell me now. Custard creams or Jaffers, Bourbon or digestive. If you've got a favourite biscuit, tell me now.
One more time.
The lad's not well. Stop embarrassing him.
And we make no apology for that song being in your head. And there's going to be another one which gets in your head in a couple of minutes' time. So after the game on Tuesday, as you heard, I spoke to Jordan Bowery, and I ended the interview like this. We end on a bit of a fun one. You've earned a bit of a rest and feet up tonight. What's your favourite biscuit?
Favourite biscuit? What? Just in general, just to eat, or with a cup of tea?
If you have a cup of tea, what would you be dunking in that tea?
It's got dunking my.
I'm sure every Stags fan tonight will be grabbing some in honour of you. Well done tonight, Jordan.
Thank you.
Oi, oi. So, first of all, what are your guesses? I'm going to start with... Now, this has been put out nowhere. Unless you were listening to the post-match full audio on Mansfield 103.2 on Tuesday, you will not know this because I purposely cut it out. So, Clive, what's your guess?
I'm going left field here. I'm going to go Fox's Party Rings.
Oh, what a biscuit that is, by the way. Nathan Edge.
I'm going to go chocolate finger.
Ooh, chocolate finger. Alan Wilson, what are you going to go for?
I'm going right outside the box with this one. I'm going fig roll.
Oh, fig roll. Okay. Well, Roger says custard cream. We've got Foxes. We've got party rings. We've got fig roll. We've got everything. Alan Wilson, it's over to you to press play on your little communications device of the jingle you've made. Hold it nice and close to the microphone, and then I'll reveal the answer. So this is what Jordan Bowery said. I'll play the clip. Alan, you then press play, then I'll play the answer. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Chris says Jammy Dodgers. Richard says chocolate digestive. This was the question.
We end on a bit of a fun one. You've earned a bit of a rest and feet up tonight. What's your favourite biscuit?
Favourite biscuit? What? Just in general, just to eat, or with a cup of tea?
If you have a cup of tea, what would you be dunking in that tea?
It's got dunking my.
I'm sure every Stags fan tonight will be grabbing some in honour of you. Well done tonight, Jordan.
Thank you.
My favourite place is the biscuit tile. It's where I like to be, looking at the varieties that are dunked into my tea. Malted milk and shortbread are very, very nice. But my favourite is the hobnob, because you can dunk it twice. So what's your favourite biscuit, custard cream or Oreo? Put it in the comments. Mansfield Matters wants to know. Think wafer Garibaldi or Fox's Crunch Cream. Keep following the Stag. Be part of the winning team.
We end on a bit of a fun one. You've earned a bit of a rest and feet up tonight. What's your favourite biscuit?
Favourite biscuit? What? Just in general, just to eat, or with a cup of tea?
If you have a cup of tea, what would you be dunking in that tea?
It's got with digestives on it. Yeah, for me, I'd chocolate digestives. I'd dunk in my.
I'm sure every Stags fan tonight will be grabbing some chocolate digestives tonight, Jordan.
Thank you.
Well done to Richard Dove in the comments. Chocolate digestive was the correct guess. That is Jordan Bowery's favourite biscuit. So you've got to incorporate now, Stags fans, chocolate digestive into a chant about Jordan Bowery. Something like, oh, Jordan Bowery dunks a chocolate digestive, Jordan Bowery. Alan can come up with it. He's a lyrical genius, as we've heard.
I thought at 1 minute he was going to say a scone, you know.
I know, it sounded like that, didn't
That's
it?
That's
what I thought.
I mean, I do like the fact that actually out of all of the players and people that I've asked the biscuit question to so far, Jordan Bowery's actually thought it through. He wanted to know whether it was with or without a cup of tea, so it might have been different.
Because it matters.
But it does matter. It does matter. Very much does matter. However, this is not a biscuit podcast, despite the entirety of the biscuit feature. biscuits do matter. Let's move swiftly on to some exciting news in a moment. But first, we need to get podcast predictions out of the way. Oldham fans think that we're going to smash them by 4-0. Here's the latest podcast predictions table. It hasn't changed much, to be fair. Ricky is in 10th place on 15. Roger is in 9th on 22. Then it's Cam in 8th, Alan in 7th, Steve Naden in 6th, Nick in 5th, me in 4th, Steve in 3rd, Clive in 2nd, and then Nathan still way out in front on 49 points at the top of the table. But let's find out what we're predicting for tomorrow's trip to Oldham. And we'll start with the league leader, Nathan Edge.
I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory on Saturday. Well, tomorrow. Goal scorers, Rhys Oates, Jordan Bowery again, and John Joe O'Toole.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go for who's next to the table, which is Clive. You're second in the table.
3-0. Stags.
Yep.
Oates, Bowery, Hawkins.
Then comes to me. I am going to say... I'm going to go for a 4-1 win, I think.
Like last week.
Yeah. Did I go for 4-1 last week? I don't know. I'm going to go 4-1 win, and I'm going to go for Rhys Oates and Jordan Bowery. My others are going to be George Maris. I think he's going to get back in the team. And who else am I going to go for? Do you know what? I'm going to go
Johnny
for?
Rose.
Bring him
Offside.
home. Yeah, offside. I'm going to actually go for... I'm going to back John Joe. I'm going to say John Joe O'Toole's going to get us a goal as well.
See what he's doing here? Just go and going to copy the leaders, try and get some points. See how it is.
Well, they always say follow the leader, don't they? They always say follow the leader. Alan, you're next.
I'd already wrote mine down, and it's exactly the same as Clive. 3-0, Barry, Hawkins, and Oates.
Fantastic. And Cam's watching Hollyoaks, so all you have to do is via the link. If you want to get involved with podcast predictions, you need to do so via the what, Nathan?
Via the link.
And you need to do it 1 hour and 1 minute before kick-off tomorrow, before that team news comes out. Right, podcast predictions done. Talking about Oldham tomorrow, done. Talking about Tuesday night's result at Rochdale, done. There's something else that I forgot to do. What is it? Oh my God. What could it be? I know that's what we're going to do. We're going to go back in time. Yes, we've got a fantastic announcement for you. Some of you who follow us on social media would have noticed that this week we didn't do a podcast on Wednesday and we didn't do one on Thursday. That's because I was busy recording Stags Stories. A brand new series is coming soon. We're going to be reflecting on our 20-year anniversary since the Stags won promotion in 01-02 under the guise of Stuart Watkiss. Bill Denton, of course, manager that season, as well as we were promoted from what was then the old Division 3 into what is now League 1. Some great memories being shared already, and I can already tell you that Andy White, who is a former Stag Stories guest, gives us another episode. He's back for another episode, this time talking more specifically about that season. And then he's going to be joining me as co-host, and the first guest we've got on is Barry Statham, the former Stags physio, and I'm sure that's a name that both you, Alan, and you, Clive, will remember and know well.
Yeah. Yes, I remember Barry very well. Excellent physio. Always did a cracking job.
And we're also going to have a number of other players on there as well to be recorded in upcoming weeks. We'll tell you who they are once they've been recorded, and we'll give you a bit of an idea on that air date as well. But, Nathan, that's not it. Can you believe that is not it? Can you remember? No, it's not. There is more, I know. Absolutely. Or what, another one? Or however the famous...
What? Kiss my arse.
Well, what?
What kiss?
Oh, yeah. Fair play. I didn't quite get the reference then, but I wasn't quite switched on. Can you remember, Nathan, a couple of years ago when we first started recording Stag Stories, we did 5 episodes of a trip down a memory lane and we went to the seaside for a day. Can you remember?
Yes, it was a lovely day out, actually.
Yes, it was. It was almost classed as an away fixture as we spoke to Stuart Watkiss about his whole journey as a Stag. So everything from a player to a coach to a manager. Well, I'm delighted to say that he's coming back. He's coming home. He's coming back to One Call Stadium for Stags Stories Live. 5 weeks today on Friday, the 22nd of April at One Call Stadium. Stuart Watkiss will be with us and special guests as well. Guests to be confirmed. But Stuart will be, Skip, affectionately known as, will be reviewing all of his time as manager that season, talking about the squad he brought through from the youth team days to all through to that promotion winning side and all the stories to go along with it. First and foremost, what do you make of that? Alan, I'm going to start with you.
Looking forward to it immensely, Craig. I always had a great fondness of Stuart Watkiss. I thought he was very nice, similar to Barry, really. Very nice gentleman, and always gave his heart on his sleeve, left everything on the pitch.
Clive, what about you? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm looking forward to it. It'll come on the back of 5 successive wins. So I think we'll all be up for it, and there'll be a lot of fan participation as well.
As a bold statement, that is, Nathan. Now, you've obviously met him. You was with us in the record when we went up to Grimsby. Tells a great story, doesn't he? He will have everybody eating out of the palm of his hand.
Yeah, it's just, isn't it? Is a genuine and interesting guy, I think. So, like we went over there. He was very accommodating to us, which we were very grateful for. So, and it's fantastic as agreed to come and do this as well. And I would say he had a lot to share. Reflecting on some superb times in Mansfield Town's history. We haven't had many of them, have they? But so it's nice to reflect on them when they do happen. But no, he's a decent guy, and he'll be he's a good storyteller. So hopefully everyone that comes along will enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, tickets are going to go on sale next week. However, we've put a little pre-sale link in the description of this video, and of this podcast. So go into the description and click on the link. You will see it in there. And all you need to do is just input your details on there to get on a database. We'll then email you out as soon as that ticket link goes live. You will get that ticket link 24 hours before they go on general sale, and we'll also be revealing to you the price on there of those tickets as well. Won't be too much, but it will be a nice little evening. Stuart Watkiss will be back with us at One Call Stadium, recalling those stories of yesteryear, along with some very special guests indeed. More to be announced soon, but make a date in your diary, Friday the 22nd of April at One Call Stadium. Get in the link now and get yourself on that pre-sale ticket mailing list and come as join us for Stags Stories Live. We cannot wait for that. Right, before we end by listening back to Tuesday night's highlights, it's been a sad week off of the pitch this week, Alan, and that's because of the passing of former Stag, both as a player and as a coach, Ivan Hollett, who sadly passed away earlier this week. Now, obviously, I was recording Stag Stories this week with Andy White and Barry Statham. We had good conversations about him, and I had a nice little 5-10 minute chat with Andy White, which is on our YouTube channel now if you want to go and have a watch of that about Ivan. But what are your memories of him? Because he was a well-respected, well-liked man in and around the club, both as a player and as a coach.
I've had many a chat with Ivan, Craig. He was a very quality gentleman, really, really nice gentleman, and always found time, irrespective of what he was doing, to come and have a word with you. I've had many a chat at the side of my box with Ivan, for either reserve matches when they used to have them or whatever. It was always there, and it was there for you, and he made time for you. And it's just such a sad day, that he has passed away, and condolences to his family and friends.
A true Stag legend, Clive.
Yeah, old school. Nothing wrong with that. And a gentleman with it. And in fact, the best compliment you can pay him is that all of the people he trained haven't got a bad word to say about him.
And you look at the likes of the people that he brought through, Nathan, as well, and it shows how influential he was as a coach, as a youth coach, as an assistant manager, as a guy behind the scenes. We're talking about the likes of Liam Lawrence, Lee Williamson, Bobby Hassel, players like that who have not only just progressed through our academy and our youth setup at the time, but have gone on to play, some of which at the very highest level, which is testament to his coaching, is his guidance, and that's his legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he spent a lot of years at the club in different capacities, and I think he's done basically every single role you can, apart from first team manager. So being Stags through and through. And like I say, some of those players there that is, helped along. For the club, has been a massive boost bringing them through. But I think for those players individually as well, they'll be very grateful for the guidance and support he gave. So absolutely is. We want to go live forever in Mansfield Town's history.
Yeah, and let's hope that he's up there along with all the other former Stags, both supporters and ex-players, etc., who have sadly passed away, and watching over us with a glint in their eye tomorrow and for the remainder of the season. What a fantastic achievement it would actually be to go on and honour that legacy of bringing through those players like Liam Lawrence, Craig Disley, etc., who helped us get promotion 20 years ago, to go and do it this year. That would be a fitting tribute all the same. I'm sure we'll hear more about that. And if you want to watch that interview with Andy White, it's on our YouTube channel. That's almost all we've got time for tonight. Don't forget to get involved in podcast predictions. The link is in the description, and get yourself on that all-important pre-sale mailing list. We want to absolutely pack out the suites at One Call Stadium to bring you this event. A lot of hard work has gone into it. It's going to be an excellent night. There's going to be Stuart Watkins there, as we say. There'll be some special guests as well, plus a bit of fun and games on the night as well. Details on tickets, etc., next week. But get yourself in that pre-sale list and get yourself a ticket for that event. Really looking forward to it in 5 weeks' time. Make sure you join us again on Sunday for the Sunday sermon. But as always, there's only one way to end, and that is by casting our eye back to Tuesday night, where the Stags bounced back from 2 successive defeats to record a 1-0 victory away at Rochdale. And here's the tale of the tape, told by Lee Wilson alongside myself from Mansfield 103.2.
2 away games, 2 defeats on the spin, 3 more away games to come thanks to Saturday's postponement at home to Stevenage. Can the Stags bounce back tonight in the first of those 3 games on the road as they come here to the Crown Oil Arena to take on Rochdale? The Stags make 4 changes to the side which were beaten by Port Vale last Tuesday night. Elliot Hewitt, John Joe O'Toole, Matty Longstaff and Stephen Quinn come in. Farron Rawson, Ollie Clark, Kieran Wallace and George Lapsley drop out. Ollie Clark is not in the 18 tonight through injury. The Stags line up with Nathan Bishop in goal, and then I think it'll be a back 4 of Elliot Hewitt, James Perch, John Joe O'Toole and Stephen McLaughlin. A midfield of Matty Longstaff, Ryan Stirk and Stephen Quinn, with a front 3 of Rhys Oates, Ollie Hawkins and Jamie. Rochdale and James Bull win it, but they give it away to Quinn. 35 from goal central, played wide for Oates on to the left of the box. Oates will shoot towards goal, but it's collected well by Jay Lynch.
Wrong option there from Oates. Mack has made a great run down the side of him. He shouldn't just slipped him in there, and he'd been running right in on goal. But it's good play from Mansfield, but wrong option from Rhys Oates there. So it's good from Mansfield, getting on the front foot, getting in behind him a couple of times. But these are definitely playing on the counter, and they're going to try and get it and hit us early over in behind the fullbacks.
We'll come away down this near side again with Broadbent. Low ball into the centre of the park, looking to try and play in Campbell, trying to stretch it wide for O'Keefe, but a good block by McLaughlin. Sees Quinn come forward. Hawkins gets it in the centre circle to Murphy. Looks to play in Rhys Oates down the left hand side, and Oates has got it here to the left of the area. Oates inside the box, goes on to his right foot. Rochdale get players back. Oates squares it for Longstaff, who's got 3 and 3. Now Murphy hits it. It's just over the top of the bar from Jamie Murphy. Mansfield's first real sight of game, and it was an excellent bit of build-up, but Jamie Murphy just couldn't quite keep his effort on target.
No, it was great play. We got a bit lucky. Mackie got a bit lucky, but we won the ball. Great ball to Murphy, and it's great vision to put it in behind. And Oates, got into box, get his pace, fed the ball back to Murphy, and so unlucky, just bent it over the bar. It was better from Mansfield. When they move the ball like that, look like we can create chances. So Come on, let's keep going, let's keep pressing, let's just stay switched on there, because I still think we're looking too vulnerable at times out of possession.
46 minutes of this game goalless, and the ball is bowled out to Ollie Hawkins now for the Stags. Looks to play it forward himself towards the left hand side for Quinn, gets it to Quinn, rolls it forward for Murphy. Driving forward is Jamie Murphy, cuts back in onto his right foot, looks to dink it across into the area for Oates. It's a good ball taken down well by Oates, needs to turn and shoot. It's a good save by the keeper, turn behind for a Mansfield corner there, first of the night, and that's Mansfield's best attacking move by far.
Yeah, that was a fantastic touch from over his shoulder there, Rhys Oates, and he turned, and good save from the keeper. And I think I've had a bit of brainwave. I said 4-1-4-1, don't I? They've actually gone 3-5.
3-5, yeah.
Yeah, I've got I need to get my glasses on. But great touch from, but already we've caused a problem.
It's down by James Perch, who turns up against the substitute of Alex Newby, who's a newbie to the pitch, having been introduced just 1 minute ago. The Stags yet to make any changes themselves, and they will have a throw over on that far side. In fact, no, it's going to be a free kick for a foul on Perch, which is taken quickly, dinked in behind. Oates gets it to the left of the box, tries to step through his man. Oates still has the ball at feet on the edge of the area, rolls it to Murphy. No, Oates gets himself punched away by the keeper, and Murphy slices it his touch, he dinks it back in towards the middle, and the ball's got out of play. And that's really the first time that Mansfield have caught Lynch unaware. He palmed the ball away, it fell for Jamie Murphy, but he couldn't get the ball out of his feet, he just hacked at thin air.
I'll tell you what, that was some powerful shot. The keeper's done really well there, because that was travelling, and Murphy again, Murphy's been lacking quality again tonight for me, and I've praised him a lot, and again he's gone in there and he's miskicked it, but that's another opportunity for us, and Rhys out there, great run, used his strength, used his pace, held him off, and it was a real powerful shot. It's a good save in the end.
An opportunity now for them to come forward, but O'Toole cuts it out on the halfway line. O'Toole, low ball down the right hand side for Rhys Oates, to the right of the area. Oates,
great ball, great ball, great ball!
And it's Jordan Bowery who scores! Away to our right hand side with 5 minutes to go. All the Stags substitutes are off the bench and on their feet. They pile on Nigel Clough as the Stags players over on that far side pile on Jordan Bowery, and Jordan Bowery unlocks Rochdale with 4 to go. Rochdale 0, Mansfield Town 1.
I told you this would make. I had a feeling for Jordan Bowery today. But O'Toole, first time he's stuck to, he's won the ball, and he put a great ball in behind, and finally we got that quality across, and he couldn't miss. It's a great goal. A little bit of quality, which they've not had, and we've not had all game. A little bit of quality, great ball, and it's a great finish from Bowery.
Rochdale coming forward down the right hand side as 6 minutes goes up. O'Keefe gets the ball in towards the Mansfield area. Stags headed away, but not far enough. It's on the edge of the Mansfield box. Mansfield force Rochdale back, but every Stags player is in the Mansfield half, and every Rochdale player is in there as well. Ball is on this near side with Gerald Dawson. In comes the ball from deep. Bishop comes and punches it away at the expense of a throw on that far side. Mansfield have got to concentrate with 6 to go. Fans want that whistle blown. Hewitt heads the ball away. Mansfield need to pick up the second ball. Punted back forward by Rochdale, but Hewitt watched it in the air, heads it down and out of play for a throw. Referee Sebastian Stocksbridge looks at his watch, but he says there's seconds to go. I make that 36 as soon as this ball is thrown. That should be it. Rochdale 0, Mansfield 1. Mansfield's trying to scamper away. Rochdale come forward. Wallace hams it away.
That's it.
Time whistle. Mansfield Town are back to winning ways, courtesy of Jordan Bowery's strike. 4 minutes from time to turn home. Rhys Oates' ball from the right hand side, and Nigel Clough and the Stags staff and substitutes all breathe a massive sigh of relief. This could be a huge result if Mansfield Town are trying to turn things on their heads. So there you have it. That's the story of Tuesday night. Mansfield Town back to winning ways, courtesy of Jordan Bowery's goal some 6 minutes from time. Will he get the starts that the fans are calling for tomorrow at Oldham? Will Jamie Murphy keep his place? Will Ollie Hawkins start up top or in defence? What will Nigel Clough do at the back? All questions which will be answered come 3 o'clock tomorrow. But the most important question of all, answered by 5 o'clock, is: can Mansfield Town make it 2 from 2 and bring home another 3 points as they're on the road again? If you're going down to Boundary Park, make sure you're loud as always to back the Stags and cheer them on to another 3 points of support at Rochdale in midweek was fantastic. Let's hope it's the same again tomorrow. And of course, if you're not going to Boundary Park, make sure you're sat next to a radio set. Coverage starts at 1 with build-up from Jason Harrison, and then of course Lee Wilson back alongside me for full match commentary as the Stags take on relegation-threatened Oldham. This is the show for the fans, by the fans. We'll be back on Sunday with the Sunday sermon. Thanks as always for getting involved tonight. Until then, enjoy your weekend, which hopefully sees the Stags bring home 3 points tomorrow. Good night.